I guess it's super hard to think about every stock in a tech sector as one. I think there are obviously areas where you have seen multiples and sales multiples expand beyond 20, 30 times. But there are still really good investments out there to be had. So I don't think it's a catch-all and say that a bubble is forming in all tech. There's just pockets of tech.
Is there any catch-up opportunity within the tech sector as a whole? As we do a deep dive perhaps into different parts of the overall sector, do you think there's still any opportunity, any unearthed gems still waiting?
Oh, absolutely. I don't even think they're necessarily unearthed. I mean, in my opinion, the likes of Facebook are still hugely underappreciated and hugely undervalued. I know the stock's effectively doubled off of its March lows, but there's still so much opportunity, and the stock is trading on 19 times. Same with Google, same with Netflix, the same with Tencent. Where you do have other areas like Apple, which have seen a massive re-rating over the last year, 2 years. But even in large cap tech, there are still massive opportunities out there.
George, I want to ask you about any backlash around some of the tech wars that have been waged. I mean, clearly the US against China, and we're seeing it through the TikTok and WeChat platforms. But what about elsewhere? I mean, India is also pushing back against China today, banning more than 100 apps as well. Would there be any backlash for some of these big American companies other than Apple that we can think of?
I mean, that's a great question, and that's a fear. I mean, you see lots of market commentators talking about how Facebook will be delighted that TikTok is effectively being broken up and sold in parts. But it's actually a big risk for Facebook themselves. They probably have the most to lose. They operate across the globe. They operate very profitable businesses across the globe. And if we think that the new normal now is that nation states taking control of these digital properties, then what does that mean for the future of Facebook? So I don't think they'll be particularly happy with what they've seen.
Can I ask you about some of the moves to try and get this sale of the TikTok US operations? It seems to have been foiled by the Chinese changing the rules about what technology could be sold. Now, there's different moves afoot, whether Microsoft and Oracle will have to come up with their own algorithm and or convincing the Chinese to allow this to happen, or whether there could be a delay to any proceedings to sell this asset. What do you think happens here? Because both sides, the United States and China, seem to have upped the ante on whether this company can do business in the United States.
I mean, to some extent, I see it as fair from the Chinese. This is proprietary technology that is owned by ByteDance, the owner of TikTok. And the reason that the executive order has been signed by the US is to stop user data and technology effectively being transferred from the US to China, and this is just the reverse of that. So I don't see it as the Chinese really changing the rules. I do see it as very important for any acquirer of TikTok, because this algorithm that runs the effectively addictive nature of TikTok is key to the business. And if that doesn't come attached to the user base, then I don't think it's as valuable assets as people believe it to be.